The final boss is back. It's go time. Season 3 is here. Are you tuning in? Every Sunday is Sitting Down Sundays with the final boss. Get ready for an inspiring journey as we dive deep into the transformation from the nation's capital to the entertainment capital of the world. This is the conversation that will ignite your dreams and fuel your ambitions. What you'll experience: game-changing insights from industry leaders, real talk about making impossible dreams possible, the blueprint for leveling up your life, motivation that hits different. This isn't just another podcast episode. This is your wake-up call to greatness. Don't just listen, absorb, don't just hear. Transform, don't just dream, execute. Drop a like in the comments if you're ready to level up with us.
Welcome to Sunday night edition of The Final Boss. I'm your host, the one and only, the Final Boss. And tonight, we have an amazing show for you guys. An amazing show. Man. Give me a second. All right. Man, oh man. Whew. What's good, people? Hope everyone's having a great week. Happy Sunday to you. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Get my sound together. Here's an echo in the background. There we go. All right. Got that out the way. Listen. Before we get into everything, real quick, don't go nowhere. Don't you go nowhere. We just got started. Look, to each and every last single one of you who are tuning in with us, thank you for joining us, whether you're watching us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Kick, LinkedIn, or for your listening pleasures, Spotify. If you're just not joining us, welcome. You are at the right place at the right time. And you are here. We are here. I am here. Listen, while we're at it, go get Go Time. Go get Go Time. Everybody's talking about it. We're getting great reviews on Amazon. Go get Go Time. All aboard the Fired Up Train. It's my first book. I just dropped it. Soft launch on Thanksgiving Day. You need to go get it, man. 330 pages of motivation. It's a motivation workbook. Now, if we look at motivation from a perspective of discipline and not energy, you don't need another motivation book that talks about motivation as an energy. We're talking about it as a discipline. Yes, that's right, a discipline. Go Time, all aboard the Fired Up Train, in stores, everywhere, Amazon, you name it, is out there. Books a Million, wherever, Barnes and Nobles, it's there. Go grit, go. It's go time. It's go time. Go get it. Now listen, Fire Boss Nation, Fire Boss community. Keep like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, subscribe to all of our channels. No matter where you see us at, go like us, man. Go like us. And to my smarts, to my motivators, to my warriors, to my final bosses. This is episode number 162. This is episode number 162 coming at you live at 9 p.m. on us each and every Sunday. This is Sitting Down Sunday with the Final Boss. I'm your host. You guessed it. The one and only Final. Yes, it's me. Call me Final. And tonight, we're pulling back the curtain as we always do. We're pulling back the curtain on one of the most manipulation tools in human history. Now, we've talked about many different manipulation tools, right? But tonight, we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. We've touched on this subject before, but we're going to do a deep dive on it tonight. And let me ask you something, all right? Let me ask you something. When was the last time you made a decision out of fear rather than wisdom, right? When was the last time you bought something because you were afraid you would miss out? When was the last time you supported a policy because you were scared of what might happen if you didn't? Well, well. What do we have here? When was the last time you stayed in a situation because of the fear of change outweighed the promise of growth, right? So tonight we're dissecting why fear, ladies and gentlemen, fear sells, not just in marketing, not just in politics, but in every arena, right? Where someone wants to control your behavior without earning your trust. And more importantly, we're going to arm you with the frameworks to recognize fear-based manipulation, ladies and gentlemen, fear-based manipulation, and respond with a calculated precision of chess mastery, not the panic of a chess piece. Because here's the truth. Fear is the cheapest currency in the marketplace, of human emotion. And if you don't understand why it sells, you're already bought and paid for, right? And that's what we're going to be diving in tonight. But let's go ahead and get with our brass tacks, man. Listen, if this is your first time here, our brass tacks is the quote that leads us into the night. It corresponds with what we're talking about. And tonight's brass tacks is no different, right? Fireballs family, here it is. Here's the quote I want you to carry with you, not just tonight, but every time someone tries to sell you on fear. And here it is, tonight's brass tacks. The person who makes you afraid controls you. The person who helps you understand frees you. That is I. Learn to tell the difference. Your future depends on it. That is tonight's brass tacks. And man, I'm telling you, that brass tacks, it's going to resonate throughout the show tonight. And I want you guys to go get your pen, paper, whatever you need. Start taking notes, man. And look, get go time. Get go time, man. I'm telling you, go get go time. All aboard the fired up train. It's only $20 hardback, man. Get the hardback so when I see you in public, I can sign it. That's why you get the hardback. So let's go. Right? Before we do this deep dive, man, let's breathe, let's relax. It's been a long day. It's been a lot of football. Hopefully your team won. But if not, it's okay. Right? Because before I go do this deep dive, I want to let out the framework of this battlefield that we're here ready to discuss. As you know, every Sunday at 9 p.m. live, this is Sitting Down Sundays, right? Which means, and this is what makes this show different from the other 4 shows, right? We're going to be reflective, as we always are. We're going to be analytical, as we always are. And we're going to connect the dots that most people don't even know exist, as we always do. And look, big shout out to everyone out there, man, to my smarts, to my finder boss, to my motivators, to my warriors. Thank you guys for continuously joining us. Look, and to all the critical thinkers out there who refuse to accept surface level explanations. And shout out to you. Yes, you. Those of you who are leveling up each and every single day, right? You're out there spreading the fire. And you're in the trenches, right? You're in the trenches doing the real work. And that's what tonight's episode is going to be based on. Of course, it's research backed, man. I do the research and I will give you the research at the end. We're pulling from behavioral psychology, neuroscience, marketing analytics, and my own 23 years of federal service, observing how fear gets weaponized at every level, all the way from the Pentagon to the boardroom to you in the living room, sitting on your couch, and to those of you who are still out on the corner. This applies to you as well. This episode is going to be dedicated, man. I'm gonna start doing some dedications, right? But this particular episode is dedicated to my daughter because I refuse to leave her a world where fear controls the masses and truth is secondary. Truth is secondary to emotional manipulation. Now, family and friends, let's talk about why fear is the world's most profitable product. First, let's get scientific. Why does fear work so effectively? That's the question you should be asking, right? Your amygdala, amygdala. That's the almond-shaped part of your brain. It's hardworking, very hardworking, man. It works faster than the speed of light, and it's hardwired for survival, right? When you perceive a threat, it triggers a cascade cortisol that floods your system. Your heart rate spikes. Your prefrontal cortex, where your rational decision making is made, it gets suppressed. You go into flight or freeze, right? And here's the manipulation. Here's a manipulation model. Modern marketers, politicians, and media outlets have figured out how to hack this ancient survival mechanism. They're not selling you products or policies. They're selling you relief from manufactured threats. And get this. Studies show that fear-based messaging is 3 to 4 times more effective at driving immediate action than positive messaging. Period. You want to know why? You want to know why? 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 You ask yourself. Because your brain prioritizes avoiding pain over pursuing pleasure. It's evolutionary, right? 1,000 years ago, humans who hesitated when hearing wrestling in the bushes got devoured. Right? The ones who ran survived. But we're not running from predator animals anymore, right? We're running from phantom threats designed to empty our wallets and control our votes. The neuroscience is simple. Fear bypasses logic. And when someone can make you afraid, they can make you compliant, right? And let's get historical for a second, right? Let's get historical. Because fear-based manipulation isn't new. It's not new, people. This isn't new, right? Listen, in the 1950s, McCarthyism and the Red Scare. Have you heard of it? Have you heard of it? You. Have you heard of it? Well, here it is. McCarthyism and the Red Scare. Be afraid of communists under every bed. People destroy lives based on paranoia and not evidence. During the 1960s and the 1970s, law and order campaigns that coded racial fear into political messaging. During the 80s, stranger danger. You remember that? Stranger danger politics in commercials and the anthem behind stranger danger? It was a panic. Child abduction rates were actually declining, but media coverage created a national hysteria that fundamentally changed how parents raise their kids. 2001, post 9/11, right? Created the security state. Listen, I'm talking from experience. I was at the Pentagon on 9/11, right? I saw the smoke. I smelled the jet fuel. I carried colleagues to safety. Not literally carried them, right? But, right? Pointed them and led them. And I watched how legitimately tragedy was weaponized. It was weaponized to justify policies that had nothing to do with keeping Americans safe. But every era has its own boogeyman. Ooh, the boogeyman is coming to get you. Ooh. Every generation has its manufactured crisis. And the playbook, we talk about playbooks all the time, the playbook never changes. It never changes. First, you identify or you create the threat. 2, you amplify it through repetition. 3, you position yourself as the only solution. 4, profit from compliance. Wash, rinse, repeat, people. Wash, rinse, repeat. And it's selling, whether it's selling security systems, insurance policies, political agendas. Fear is the sales pitch that never gets old, right? Now let's talk about business. Let's talk about business for a second, right? Marketing, advertising, which I love dearly, run on fear more than any other emotion. And I see it all the time. You have to be able to recognize the patterns. And that's what we're here for on the Find the Boss podcast, Find the Boss community, Find the Boss nation. We're here to teach you how to recognize the patterns. Right? Right? Only 3 left in stock. Sale ends tonight. This isn't about inventory. It's about triggering fear of missing out, right? Then you have these before and after photos that whisper, you're not good enough as you are. Be afraid of aging. You've seen the cosmetic commercials. Be afraid of being undesirable. You've seen the ED commercials, right? And then the insurance policies, that commercials. The entire business model is selling protection from catastrophic what ifs. You're buying what ifs. You're putting thousands upon thousands of dollars into what ifs, right? What ifs. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant because they sell it to you as a fear that's real. But the likelihood is often exaggerated, right? Now, in cybersecurity, if you don't know, there are legitimate threats. There are legitimate threats in cybersecurity, right? And I'm incorporating this. You know, I do 360, right? In cybersecurity, vendors often amplify fear to drive sales. You see the pop-ups, right? You're one click away from total compromise, right? Sometimes it's true, oftentimes it's not, and very exaggerated. But look, when I used to do security assessments, right? A lot of security assessments were done based off of fear mongering, and I recognized it. Data driven risk, right? Data driven risk. Worst case scenarios, all emotional manipulation equals overpriced solutions, right? Put a Have you ever sat back and put a price tag on fear? Have you ever sit back and put a price tag on fear? Right? Hey, thanks, Doc. I appreciate you, brother. The difference, right? The difference is that one respects your intelligence, the other exploits your anxiety. And here's the bottom line. If someone's sales pitches makes you feel panicked rather than informed, they're selling you fear and not value, right? Now, we don't do this often on the Final Boss, but we're going to talk about it tonight. We're going to talk about politics just for a brief piece of this segment. A brief piece, right? We're going to go political. And I'm going nonpartisan, right? I'm going nonpartisan because that's what I do. Because critical thinkers do that. That's what we do as critical thinkers, right? Nonpartisan. And I'm saying that because I recognize that both sides play this very game. The left usually leans towards climate catastrophes. Democracy is on the brink. Your rights will be stripped away, right? And then you're on the right. They're coming for your guns. Invasion at the border. Traditional values are under attack, right? Notice the patterns. Maximum threat levels, minimum nuance, immediate compliance required. I know some of you who are looking at me right now, you felt the twitch, you felt the tingle, you felt a certain level of anxiety as I spoke on those 3 or 6 different subjects that both sides use to poke at your anxieties, right? And I'm not saying that these aren't underlying issues. I'm not saying they're not real. Climate change is real. Border security is real. Constitutional rights are real. But watch how these legitimate concerns get amplified in existential crisis that are designed to bypass your critical thinking, right? The formula doesn't change. Identify the genuine concern, strip away context and complexities, inflate it to apocalyptic proportions, present yourself as the only source between voters and catastrophe, right? Then demand loyalty based on fear, not performance, right? And listen, I can speak on these things because I have 23 years of federal service. And in that, I learned about several different administrations, regardless of party. They all use fear to expand authority and use it also to reduce accountability. Every single one, right? And look, if you don't notice, this is back also used to back up my claim. I'm a disabled veteran. I've been and seen and was a part of 2 combat theaters, Afghanistan and Iraq. I can tell you the biggest threats to our republic aren't the ones politicians scream about on cable news. They're the ones that are quietly happening while we're distracted, right? While we're being distracted by manufactured outrage. Listen, the media is an amplifier that turns whispers into screams. Those are bars if I've never heard them before. If it bleeds, it leads. That's been the journalism motto for decades. Why? Because fear drives ratings. Ratings drive ad revenue. Ad revenue drives editorial decisions. Look at the data. Crime rates in the US have been declining for the last 30 years. Yet, surveys show most Americans believe crime is getting worse. Why? Because media coverage of crime has increased. That's not journalism, that's fear merchandising. Look at your 24-hour news cycle. Let's look at your 24 hours news cycle, right? Look at your social media algorithms, right? Nothing engages fear like anger and outrage. And here's the manipulation mechanism, right? Isolated incident occurs. Media covers it wall to wall. Repetition creates perception of pattern. Pattern recreates sense of epidemic. Epidemic justifies extreme responses. You know, the mass involvement of violence, the terror attacks, the pandemic threats. These are all real tragedies that deserve serious coverage. But watch how they get used. Count how many times the footage repeats. Track how quickly the discussion shifts from facts to fear to policy proposals that were written before the crisis even happened, right? Hey, Colt, you just joined. Sorry for you being late, my brother, but you're going to have to go back and watch it from the beginning, friend. That's what you do. That's what you're going to have to do. Listen, media literacy isn't optional anymore. Find the bosses, motivators, warriors, and smarts. It's not optional. If you don't understand how the machine works, you're the product of being sold. Now, I just mentioned social media. Social media took fear selling to a whole new level. The algorithm doesn't care about truth. It cares about engagement. And fear is the most engaging emotion. Studies show that posts triggering fear, anger, or more outrage get 2 to 3 times more shares than positive content. I spoke about that. So what happens, right? The algorithm learns to feed you more of what scares you. Your feed becomes a personalized fear factory. That compulsive behavior where you keep refreshing your feed even though every post makes you more anxious, that's not accidental. That's engineered, right? Silicon Valley didn't stumble into addiction mechanics. They hired neuroscientists, and behavioral psychologists to perfect how to engineer your fear. You get algorithmically sorted into groups of people who share your fears. This amplifies anxiety and eliminates exposure to perspectives that might reduce it. You swipe up to learn one thing, then they don't want you, then you learn something they don't want you to know. That's not education. That's fear-based click farming. And this is a challenge that I want you guys to have. You know I love to give you challenges, right? To my final boss, to my smarts, to my motivators, to my warriors, to the final boss community. Try and go 48 hours consuming zero social media news. Get your information from long form if it's readily available. Research your sources if you have time. See how your anxiety levels change. See how your decision making improves. Social media is a tool. But if you don't control the tool, the tool will definitely, more than likely, control you. Right? Now let's pivot. Let's flip the script. How do you break the fear cycle? How do you operate from wisdom instead of panic? This is where my 6 pillars of success, which Go Time is all about. 6 pillars of success, right? 6 pillars of success, right? Teaches you how you break the fear cycle. How do you operate from wisdom instead of panic? Get Go Time. Go read up on the 6 pillars of success. The first pillar, motivation, right? Motivation connects you with your why. Fear makes you reactive. Motivation makes you proactive. When you're clear on your mission, fear-based distractions lose power. Number 2, sacrifice. Understand what you're willing to give up. Fear sellers exploit your unwillingness to sacrifice comfort, security, and social approval. When you've already decided what you're going to sacrifice, fear tactics can leverage those pain points, right? And consistency. Fear thrives on chaos. Consistency is the antidote. Create daily routines. Create repeated disciplines. Create systematic frameworks. These create stability that fear can't penetrate. And perseverance. Fear wants you to quit at the first obstacle. Perseverance means you've already committed to pushing through resistance. You explained and you explained to yourself. You expected the fear. You planned for it. And persistence. Keep showing up. Fear sellers count on your attention span breaking. When you persistently pursue truth over time, patterns of manipulation become very obvious. And number 6, resilience. This is the ultimate defense. Resilient people don't deny fear. They acknowledge it, assess it, and decide whether it's legitimate or manufactured. They bounce back from legitimate threats and ignore phantom ones. When you're operating from the 6 pillars of success, fear-based manipulation has no entry point. You're a chess master analyzing the board, not a chess piece being moved by somebody else's fear agenda, metaphorically. Now, not all fear is manipulation. Not all fear is manipulation. Some threats are real. So you want to know how to tell the difference? You want to know how to tell the difference? Mm-hmm. Yes, of course you do. Legitimate fear usually have these specific things. They are specific. They are verifiable. And it can be evidence, right? It also has proportional responses, which are recommendations. It has multiple credible sources. It has actionable solutions within your control. It has a nuance and context, right? Nuance and context. Now, manufactured fear, right? Manufactured fear can be vague. It would pull on your emotion. It can be extreme. It can either have also all or nothing demands. It can be a single source, or it can be something that is in an echo chamber. So it requires solutions that surrender autonomy. It also doesn't leave room for questions or critical analysis. And that's big. When that's one thing that you can recognize if fear is being manufactured. That's a telltale sign. If it leaves no room for questions or critical analysis. Hey, you, don't you go nowhere. Yeah, you, stay right there. Don't go nowhere. Don't you go nowhere. Stay with us. All right? Listen. Um, I get a lot of responses and comments back from the Final Boss community. Final Boss members who demonstrate immunity to fear-based manipulation, right? Someone DM'd me the other day about walking away from a high pressure uh, sales meeting, right? For a product they didn't understand, right? That wisdom had kicked in. That wisdom had kicked in over fear. From Warrior Soul 23, who's been documenting their journey breaking free from doom scrolling. You're welcome. Thank you so much for sharing. They stated that they're more than 40 something days clean from toxic news cycles. Now, that right there is discipline architecture. And where do you learn discipline architecture from? Go time. Go time. Discipline architecture is wrapped up in go time, right? Respect. And to my smarts who've been sharing media literacy resources everywhere on our different social media sites that you see us on. You're not just consuming truth, you're equipping others to find it. And I thank you, right? I speak on my daughter a lot. I love her dearly. I love her dearly. When she's old enough to understand and go back and read these transcripts and see these frameworks that good old dad built and was designed as early warning signals against manipulation, she will understand, right? Because this community isn't just blindly following. It's about developing critical thinking skills to lead yourself, to lead others. And as I always say, man, we are all in this journey together. We're all in this journey together, right? Now, let's pivot for a bit. Thank you for that. Let's talk about building long-term psychological immunity to fear-based manipulation, right? Strategy number one is something I like to call information hygiene. Information hygiene. You need to diversify your sources. Verify before sharing, track emotional reactions to content, and if it makes you outraged within 30 seconds, pause before responding. The second strategy, question the messenger, right? Question the messenger. Who benefits from it? Who are they? What are they selling? What information are they leaving out? Would I believe this if it came from a different source? And strategy number three is stress test. Actively seek contrary evidence. Imagine the strongest argument against your position. Update your views when data demands it. Certainty is the enemy of wisdom, right? And then you have to start building critical thinking, decision-making protocols, right? This is something that I've been studying for some time. As you may know, I am getting my MBA in international global business, right? Or global studies, rather, right? I've learned how to recognize the trigger. And you have to ask yourself, is this making me feel scared, angry, or pressured, right? Before making very important decisions, give it 24 hours. Give it 24 hours. Think about it. Plot it out, right? When you're gathering data and doing research, look at multiple sources. Look at contradictory. Look at other sources. Look at other sources, people. Assess the risk, right? What's the actual probability versus the perceived threat, right? Then, lastly, you make a decision, but that decision is based on evidence, not emotion. This framework has helped me in business meetings, combat zones, personal life, right? Learn to cultivate stoic principles. Control what you can control. Hey, I like you too. Thank you. I appreciate you. Control what you can control. Accept what you can't. Distinguish between the two. Fear operates in the gap between reality and perception. Learn to close the gap, and you close it with clarity, right? Now, I gave you guys the brass tacks earlier, all right? And for those who are just now joining us, I'm going to give it to you again because I want this brass tacks for this particular show to resonate in with you thoroughly. I want you to grasp these concepts, these principles. I want you to understand the frameworks, right? Here's the brass tacks again. The person who makes you afraid, controls you. The person who helps you understand frees you. You need to learn to tell the difference. Your very future may depend on it, right? Now go write that down. Go write that down. Screenshot this moment. Put it on your mirror. Because every single day, someone is going to try to hack your mental, to bypass your prefrontal cortex. Every single day, fear will be pitched. And every single day, you have the power to see what you're doing, and you can say, not today. And for my religious folks out there, as you guys love to say, not today, Satan, not today, right? That's what separates chess pieces from chess masters, right? Now, let's get tactical. Let's get tactical. What do you do with this information starting not next week, not next month, not next year, which would be in 3 days? We're talking tomorrow, right? We're talking tomorrow. You're going to do a fear audit. You're going to do a fear audit. Now, I probably have spoken about doing fear audits in the past, but this is relating to fear being sold to you. So that's the difference. I want you to track every fear-based message you encounter in the next 7 days. Look at marketing emails, news headlines, social media, political ads. Gather the data. That's where you start. Look and see how much fear-based messaging you're being sold. And I bet it's a enormous, ginormous amount. You will be surprised, right? Write it down. Write it down. Then write down what threat is being presented, what response is being demanded, who benefits from your compliance. Your compliance. You'll be shocked. I'm telling you, you'll be shocked how pervasive it is once you start looking at it, right? Then for the second week, I want you to pick a topic you care about deeply. I want you to find 3 credible sources that disagree with your current viewpoint. I want you to read them with intellectual honesty. I want you to see your position. See if your position strengthens or evolves. Right? And here's a real confidence challenge. Here's a real confidence challenge, right? Real confidence welcomes challenges. Fear runs from it, right? So do the challenge. And look, starting tonight, before you share anything on social media, start asking yourself, am I spreading information or am I amplifying fear? If it's designed to make people anxious without empowering action for the sake of likes, 1, shame on you, and 2, don't share it. It's time for us to start being part of the solutions, not these echo chambers. All right? I want you to share these frameworks with someone in your life, someone who may be struggling with anxiety or being overwhelmed. I want you to describe and see if you can speak about the 6 pillars of success. If you need assistance, use the references that I have for our other shows. Go check out our website. You can see all the shows on there. 6 pillars of success to help them build immunity. Teaching solidifies not only your understanding, but it expands your knowledge and how you are able to help someone else, right? And for my entrepreneurs out there, look, Audit your marketing. Are you selling value or fear? There's a difference between highlighting a problem and weaponizing anxiety. Build businesses that respect your customers' intelligence. People aren't stupid. Americans aren't dumb. Right? Americans aren't dumb, people. And to my male folks, you already know the real threats. You know the real threats from the manufactured ones. You've seen both. Continue to use that discernment to cut through the civilian sector of fear mongering. Your experience and expertise is valuable. Don't gatekeep, share it. And lastly, for everyone else, the goal isn't to eliminate fear. Fear is a legitimate survival mechanism. The goal is to become the person who decides which fears deserve your attention and which ones are trying to steal your power. Fear will always sell. Your job is to stop buying and purchasing it. Whew. Man. To my final bosses, to my motivators, to my warriors, to my smarts. Final Boss Nation, Final Boss Community, Final Boss Family. We've covered a lot tonight, right? We've talked about the neuroscience of fear, the historical playbook of manipulation, the marketing tactics, the political weaponization, the media amplification, the social media algorithms that profit from your anxiety. Most importantly, we armed you with the frameworks to recognize and resist. Here's what I need you to understand. This isn't about becoming cynical. It's about becoming sovereign. Sovereignty over your attention, sovereignty over your decisions, sovereignty over your emotional responses. Fear sellers want you reactive, scattered, and dependent. I want you to be strategic, focused, and self-directed. Right? That's the final boss difference. Right? And for references for some of tonight's show, go pick up Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman, The Neuroscience of Decision Making. Go pick up The Culture of Fear by Barry Glasner. Go pick up Trust Me, I'm Lying by Ryan Holiday. Go pick up Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. Yeah, Robert Cialdini. I got it. Go pick up The Coddling of the American Mind by Haddett and Lacknoff. Go pick up Federal Trade Commission resources that speak on deceptive marketing practices. Watch out for the media biases. Fact check your websites. Do source verification. Right? Now, we'll be back here, same time, live, tomorrow night at 9 p.m. live for Motivation Monday. Right? Where are we going deep on? Probably building discipline architecture and a distraction economy. Maybe. We might talk about that. And here's a reminder. The merger Wednesdays, the Merge podcast series, which I launched on December 17th. Be sure to check that out each and every Wednesday, where we discuss human AI consciousness program integration. Right? We're going to be talking about nanotechnology, smart blood, smart dust, and the real science behind the future that they're not showing you. All right? They're not showing you. And listen, it's not nonfiction. This is research-backed content that's going to change how you think what the future looks like. And be sure to catch us also on Tuesday for Tech Tuesday with our technology SME, Big Mike, the sensei, right? And before I let you go, how can I forget? Go check out, and don't forget about Special Guest Thursdays, where I bring thought leaders in, entrepreneurs, business owners, charity and representatives, politicians, celebrities, you name it. Those people are all interviewed in an interview style on not on Special Guest Thursdays. I apologize. And before I let you go, let me say this. First, thank you for being here. And thank you for being a part of Sitting Down Sunday, right, with me. Thank you for being the kind of person who seeks understanding, who believes in critical thinking, who wants understanding over comfort, right? And thank you for being a part of this community where we value truth over tribal loyalty. And to my smarts, my final boss, and my motivators, my warriors, you are the reason the platform exists. You are the reason I keep showing up 5 nights a week. You are the proof that critical thinking is a did. It's just waiting for the right framework. Stay curious, stay critical, stay sovereign. I am the Final Boss. This has been the Final Boss podcast, reminding you, you're not a chess piece. You're the master of your own board. I'll see you guys again tomorrow night for Motivation Monday. Then again for Tech Tuesday, and then for Merger Wednesday, and then for Special Guest Thursday. This is our show. If this resonates with you, please let that all marinate in your spine. And remember, there's a heavy pain that comes from discipline, but the pain of regret is even heavier. That is our show. You are here. We are here. I am here. And as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Be balanced, be smart. I jacked it up. Every now and again, I will. Be balanced, be equal, and be smart. And that is our show for tonight. Thank you, each and every last one of you. You have a great night. See you soon.